Today we study chapter 8, functions. Last chapter LC3, you study with a C function. You can also pass some arguments and you can return value. And of course, you can use the value to check return from function or not. It's up to you. When you design a C function, there are two things. The first, you need to declare the prototype of a function, and you put it in the part of declaration in a C program. And the second thing, this is definition of the function, and you put in the part of functions in a C program. This is the format of the prototype of a function. Pay attention. With the prototype of function, you have to write a semicolon at the end. When you don't write it, you have the header of the function. At the top, you have the header, not the prototype. When you say you have a prototype, you need to write a semicolon at the end. When you write the definition of function, you need to write the header. So I said the header, so I don't write the semicolon at the end over here. No, because it's called the header. This is the body of the function. This is the algorithm. Okay? And of course, in the function, we can declare some local variables over here. For example, now I give you a main function inside. You call some functions. For example, setup board, determine size, okay, what's turn, etc. Over here, in the main function, we call this function. Now we go to the way for designing functions in C. Firstly, we need to declare the prototype of our functions. For example, over here, we have the function factorial. Over here, the name of the function. Over here, we have an argument. With the argument, we have only one argument with each data type. You need to write the data type for the argument over here. You must write it. The next, you can get a return value, so you need to write the data type for the return value. At the end, pay attention. Okay, you have a semicolon, okay, to say now you have a prototype. And you put this line in the part of declaration, okay? And then when you want to call it, you want to use, for example, in the main function, you call it. And over here now, we can write an expression for passing the value for the argument of the function over here. The next one, you need to write the definition of the function. For example, over here now you have the definition of the function factorial. Over here you have only one argument, and the data type for the return value over here. For the body, you declare a local variable. You declare local variable result, and you use the iteration to get the factorial. And then when you go out, you can use the instruction return to return the value result. But over here now, you have a small problem. For example, in future, you want to get out not only one, but also 2, 3 values. So at that time, how can you do? If you use the name of function, you can return only one value. Okay, but in future, if you have, you want more at that time, you can use function declaration and definition with pointer. So at that time, you use an address like this. Okay, so at the top, when you declare, you need to write a star or asterisk before the name of an address. Okay, so over here we say now result, the pointer, When we study the C3, we say we have pointer, that is an address, location. And over here we have the same principle. Of course, when you write integer style result, okay, over here you have the prototype, and this, okay, that is at the header of the function. And in its body, when you want to use the value, for example, you want to assign the value 1 to this, of course, result that point, and when you write star before it, that means you have a location or a variable, and we use to store a value. So over here, the value is 1. Okay, so over here, you assign many times. Okay, and when we go out, you have a location storing the value you want, that is the factorial of the value, for example, n. And when you call, for example, in main, okay, you call it, because when you use a pointer, okay, that means the function factorial has 2 arguments. The first, an integer, and the second, a pointer. Okay, a pointer that is an address. So when you call it, you need to provide with an address. When you write result, that means you have variable. Okay, but if you want to get its address, you need to write ampersand before it. So that's why over here you need to write ampersand. Okay. But maybe you ask me, why do we need to declare the prototype function? We say that's important because in future maybe you write or you build your function and you put it in the other file. So you want to use in the other file. So at that time you need to say, you need to write the prototype function you want to use in this file, but it's from the other file. So at that time you need to write the prototype function. Okay. And the other, you need to write the prototype for C to check the number of arguments, the data type for the return value, the data type for arguments that you want to pass in the function. For example, over here now, I give you the main function. Okay, above it, you have the function double value in dollars. Over here, we pass 2 arguments. Okay, over here the definition, and over here you call it. Okay, you record it, you assign the value to the variable dollars, and you can bring up over here. Now I would like to give you some examples. The first is you write the full program for computing factorial of n with the pointer, and the second with pointer. Okay, so over here now, you write the prototype function factorial over here. Okay, and you need to write partial include to file standard input header and console input header, because in the main we use the function printf, scanf, okay, and their prototype and the file of standard input header. We use the function get shared, and each prototype is in the file console input header over here. Okay, this is our function. That is a user profile. Okay, so over here, the part of declaration and the part of function. So there are 2 functions, main and factorial over here. Okay, and then the main, firstly you scan it, that means you input the value. Okay, and then you check, and then you call the function, and then you print out. Over here now you have the same, okay, but pay attention to the pointer over here. And then when you call the extension to y, the ampersand before the variable, over here you have variable, And then you call it, pay attention to writing ampersand before the name. And over here, when you write, when you use the values, when you use the variable, pay attention to writing, start for the pointer to say you want to assign value to the location with that place you provide for the group. Okay?